Hi, my name is Elaine Brown and I'm a Senior Community Researcher at Centric. I'd like to welcome you to our podcast. Today we'll be speaking about how the cost of living is affecting finances and employment for those with multiple long-term conditions. Community members from Lambeth and Southwark come together to take part in our creative research project. They have worked together to create collages on barriers and future aspirations concerning their finances and employment. For those who don't know what a collage is, it's a collection of visual photos telling a story. Our participants will be using an assumed name to protect their identities and all live with multiple long-term conditions, which is defined as having 2 or more conditions that last for 3 months or longer. Firstly, I'm just going to ask you, Mrs Resilience, how did you come by that name?
Well, I came by the name through learning about the word actually from uni and realising that I have gone through a lot of stuff in my life and I just keep pushing through. I never give up. I keep striving. I always have to get a result out of something. I'm not a person that gives up on anything. Yeah.
So were you always Mrs Resilience?
I always was, but I didn't know.
Okay.
So now I'm aware of it as we speak, yeah.
Right, resilience. How did you find working on the collage today?
Oh, I found working on collage really exciting. It opened up my mind even more, especially where I've been battling with a lot of mental health issues, so putting all of these images into perspective and into a story, and it's just made me see my life in a different angle, which I never really looked at before, especially when it comes to health.
Did you find it hard to come up with the images that, if you like, because this is something quite different, isn't it?
It is quite different. In a way I didn't, because I didn't find it hard after asking the questions to you know, like the different examples of the type of images that you guys were
looking for.
Looking for. And yes, I did find it hard because I would like, what exactly, how do I show the impact of this cost of living when it comes to finance and work? How am I, you know, in health and long term, how do I do that? And I'm just like, it's sitting right in front of me. So basically it was easy, but it's just having to think about it. Yeah.
Right, okay. We're looking at barriers.
Yeah.
For those who are working on that area today, in relation to employment and finances, explain your main concerns for me when it came to thinking about those barriers. Yeah, just talk me through that a little bit.
Okay, well, as a mother of 4 and an individual that has a few long-term health issues, especially after having children, I find it a bit challenging, especially when I want to get back into work, finding myself, finding out, or not even finding out, is adapting to the long-term issues that I have. I'm working around it, I'm working around my children, and trying to stay strong and focused. But at the same time, my body's getting weaker and weaker in regard to the different stuff that is going on with me. So like, I have carpal tunnel in both hands, and that was from the pregnancies, and I had babies back to back, 3 babies back to back.
Right.
So it's something that I'm dealing with now, especially where I just had a neurology appointment for my left side of my hands because there's something that's going on with my brain and my nervous system and everything else. So,
Right.
yeah. So it's trying to find that, okay, I'm sick, but I want to go back to work. I need to help out with the bills at home. My husband, he's struggling. So it's just like, where do I go? Where do I fit in, sort of thing? How do I go about it? And what's the right time?
What are your day-to-day barriers around managing finances? How do you do it?
Well, I'm a bargain hunter. I like to. I will go and look at reduced stuff in the shop when it comes to food shopping. With lights and electric bills or gas bills, if you're cold, put on clothes. That's the motto in the house. Don't put on the heating if it's really, really needed. Electric, so we just had a smart meter installed in the property, and we are looking at when the meter goes up, what exactly is triggering that. So we look at the lights and we just figured out what is making the bills go up, so we know not to use certain things as well. And I've just like recycled and just get things on reduction or borrow things if you don't need to buy it. If I don't have it and I haven't got the money for it, I can't have it. So, you know, just go without, really.
Right. How does I want to ask this. How does this affect the wider family?
So it in regard to like the children, they want things, can't give. As it was just me and my daughter in the beginning, if she had ever asked me for anything, I would have said, yeah, baby, you know, I'll fight to get it, but she would have it. But now there's 4 mouths to put food in and 4 mouths to how can I say, to entertain. It is harder, so like going on holidays or days out, just not even that, simple days out with the kids, going to the shop, it's a struggle. It's a big struggle. They want things, can't afford to get it for them. Then not even the financial part, it's the physical part, walking with them, listening to them, they're talking to me, I can't hear them on the street because I've got a hearing impairment. Pushing the buggy, it hurts my hands, so I have to come my back. The constant 56 stairs I climb every day.
How many?
56 stairs I climb in my block, there's no lift, so, and I'm at the top. And I have to carry the buggy, the shopping and the babies. And my son got cerebral palsy, so he struggles as well a little bit when his leg gets tired, even though he doesn't like telling me, but yeah. It's a lot, and that all affects my mental health. So I've been suffering with depression and anxiety from like the age of 12, and as I'm getting older it's getting worse, but I'm learning to cope with it in a different way than, for instance, I was having counselling often. I haven't had counselling for the past 3 years now, I think since COVID, and I feel like I do need to get back into it, but I'm just more focused on the children, everything's children. Yeah. So I push my health issues back and just get the kids more.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What am I going to ask you next? Tell us about how you think these barriers might affect your employment opportunities. How do you manage these?
Okay, so like I said in the beginning, finding myself, I don't know where I fit in. I have a lot of qualification, I have a lot of experiences in many different avenues, and I don't know where I fit, I don't know where I am. Having unbalanced hormones all over the place because they did say it takes 2 years after having a baby to get back to normal.
Okay.
I need like 100 years. So I am not quite there yet. So like I'm registered to like LinkedIn and some other employment companies, and I see the jobs flashing up on my emails. I'm looking at them, I'm like, I can do this, or I want to apply for it, and I'm like, am I ready to do it? How do I fill out the form? Have I got the confidence enough to do it? Have I got the skills enough? And then the fear kicks in, and then I back off, and I think I don't know if I'm ready to work yet. And that always happened, and it's like that on a daily basis, not just with employment, but just with anything in general. And it's like I have to boost myself to like do things.
Explain that. How do you mean you have to abuse yourself?
Boost myself.
Boost.
So I have to talk myself into doing things, or unless I will just sit there and wallow in depression and be like, oh, I can't be bothered, I can't be asked. I don't like that can't be asked attitude. I need to have that I can do attitude. So I have to just, if I don't do it, nobody else will do it for me. So it's the fighting that battle against yourself, like, I can do it, let's do it, let's do it. And my children always say, let's do it, man, let's do it. So they follow everything I say. So it's a let's do it thing, night tick.
Where did you get this resilience from?
My mum.
Tell me a little bit.
I've watched my mum, she got multiple long-term issues. She's got diabetes, she's had stroke, she had like 3 strokes. One very serious one with the left side of her body, she was in a wheelchair. My mum had heart attack, she got a defibrillator in her at the moment, even though they put the pacemaker in, which was the wrong one, so they cut her open 4 times, so yeah. So my mum, she got arthritis, the list goes on, and she just keeps going on. She just came back from a cruise 2 days ago, Caribbean cruise, and she's off again.
Right.
So she's always been on the go. She was a midwife and a matron for years from she was the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
My mum's going to be 80 in 2 years.
Right.
And I've seen my mum do things. I'm like, me and my mum, we share the same birthday as well. So I'm like my mum, but it's just like, she just looks at me and she smiles, and I see myself in her. So I'm like, she can do it, I can do it.
I'm trying to figure this question out because I want to ask you,
Yeah.
what has held you back? But I also want to know something about the journey that you have had to make to become this resilience. You've told me a little bit that you've spoken very briefly
Yeah.
on education.
Yeah.
Talk to your journey in education.
So in education, as a young child, I used to attend this class at school in primary school called Bangers and Mash. Didn't know at the time that it was a program for children that are slow learners.
Okay.
So as I got older, not only I figured it out, but I was born partially deaf in my right ear. They said that my mum had German measles with me when she was pregnant with me. So that's how I got that. So they said by the age of 12, I'll be totally deaf.
Right.
Which by the grace of God, it has not happened. And the only thing that has happened is the left side's conked out. So they're both not working properly. Right. And so I've been dealing with my hearing impairment from a young age, where it's gotten to a point where I was bullied in school. So I went to school in Jamaica. My mum is a missionary worker, so she went over to Jamaica, so I went with her and had to go to school and everything else. And I got bullied for having a hearing impairment, on top of being the last in class, which I didn't understand anything, whatever. So I just had to move on, just keep going. Even though it's affected me to the point where I tried to commit suicide several times as a young person, and so it's something that I'm a person I would never give up. I have to keep going. I'm here for a purpose. So even though those voices in my head were telling me I'm supposed to be here, I've taught myself and that you're here for something. You are here for a reason. and now that I've got 4 children, I'm definitely here for a reason. Yeah. And then, so as I got older, being at school, secondary school, I didn't understand certain things. I didn't know how to work out certain things, especially like in math class. So I would walk out of class, get angry with the teachers, and just walk out and not listen to anybody. These are the signs which I didn't know that I've got dyslexia. So it's when I started college at the age of 30, I went back to college and I did a health and social care level 2 course, which was wonderful. But my tutor at the time was saying that you need to take a test just to check on your learning development. And I didn't understand, so I was like, okay. So I did it and they said, yes, you've got dyslexia. I was like, oh, what is that? And then they explained it to me, which put another downer on me, on my spirit, because I was like, I'm deaf.
You're writing a list.
Yeah. I was going through domestic violence, my daughter's dad at the time. And then also, before I started college at that age, I was working as a prison officer and I fell off the van with the prisoner and I hurt my back. I fell and I hit my back on the stairs. So that was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life. And I couldn't walk for 2 years. And then I developed sciatica in my back. So I was going to college with the crutches and I just kept going. I said, I'm not giving up. I can't sit at home and I'm not a not doing person. I have to work, I have to do something. So that was my way of outletting, I have to do something. So
I have to ask you,
yeah.
You are someone with a number, a significant number of multiple, of long-term conditions.
Yeah.
Why don't you just sit on the state and allow them? What are you doing at college?
I want to learn. I want to I want more skills. Like, I've been asking, when I was a prison officer, I was asking them, is there any courses that I could do? And they kept saying no. And it was all mainly down to do with colour.
Okay.
So I remember my colleague asked if she could have a year break, that's what they call it, a career break, that's it. And they gave it to her. And they paid her. You're not supposed to pay her. And I asked, they said no. And obviously, when I got sick, I was out. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it as an opportunity to do my career up. Because I didn't feel like I was just locking up the prisoners, and that was it. Even though I was doing my little side, reaching out to them, mentoring them, because I was able to stop 2 prisoners from doing that recycle of keep coming back to prison. So one of them was actually mentoring somebody else. It was nice because I explained my story to them of how I grew up and being in a gang and and being homeless. So my story kind of like impacted and helped them, and they learned like, if she can do it, I can do it. So I've passed that on, yeah. So I just have to keep going. I have to.
I'm taking a deep breath here. How do you think all of these barriers have impacted, have affected your ability to get a job? You've explained a little bit there. What are the obstacles and why do you keep trying?
The obstacles are the main one is my children. So I have to let my children be comfortable. So basically when I mean comfortable, it's my last one, I need him to be in full time. So he finished like at 11:30 at nursery and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's the 15-hour thing. So I'm waiting for him to start that full time. Once he's in that full time, and I get the other ones, they're in school full time, but I also want to get them into activity. I just want to set things up for them like I did for my firstborn. And because she was in every activity, I made sure I love children doing stuff. I don't like them being on the street and idolising and being adipose children. You have to do something for your life. I don't care how small you are. So that's one part. And the second part is my husband, he's a hard-working man. And I kind of work around his schedule, even though he works around mine. So we like split things up, okay? So like if I'm doing this, he's at home talking at the kids and he starts like 3 o'clock and I have to quickly rush to get back and stuff like that. So I've got to think about timing, children, and then like in regards to like my health, my problem is my own fear. My own fear. So I fear that fear of failure. I'm feared to rejection. I'm scared to like apply for a job and they told me no. I hate rejection. I've been rejected so many times in my life, especially from people that I loved, family members and stuff like that. So I'm just scared of that. I don't like people. I don't like the word. I know it's okay to say no, but I just don't like it being said to me, especially when I'm a person I work so hard. I deserve. I feel like I have because of everything I've been through. But for someone to tell me no, it's just like, oh, you know, and then that kind of adds on to my mental state and everything else. But it's something that I'm battling with myself, and the only person that can get through that is myself at the moment. But yeah.
What things are you doing in the meantime that are going to enable you to become employed in the way that you think, that you believe you would like to be employed?
Okay, so the thing that I've done, like I've gone to college, I've gone to uni, but when I was at uni, I was doing courses that I didn't understand. I was learning about it, but I didn't understand. I'm a person I like to, you would have to give me, this is why I knew it was part of my dyslexia, I have to do it in hand. I'm a person, I like, give it to me in my hand, let me see what it does first before you say it to me or you write it down.
Okay.
So when I was at uni, I didn't, like I was doing research, I didn't understand what research, I didn't understand how to do research. I was like, what's all this? I was like, oh, I've kind of never done it before. But since I've struggled to get through uni because I had to deal with housing issues, domestic violence, mental health, health in itself, like my body, I couldn't walk properly and stuff like that. So all of those things I had to deal with going through uni, and I didn't have my full attention when I wanted to study, and I finished. I graduated, didn't get the grade that I wanted, but I graduated.
Right.
But then being introduced to community organisations and taking part in different research and stuff like, oh, now it makes sense. Is this what research means? Is this what community type of work, you know, because I was like, I didn't understand. So now I'm seeing it hands-on and I'm just taking part in things. Like, okay, now it makes sense. This is it. It seems so easy. When I was at college, when uni, it seems so hard because it's just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and nothing's there. And I figured out that's the part of my way of learning, because everyone had different ways of learning, and that's the part of dyslexia. And it's like the more I'm understanding and learning, the more I'm accepting that I've got dyslexia. Yeah, okay, great stuff. You know, let's keep it moving.
What happens when people find out, when employers find out that you have this multiplicity of issues?
I remember, if I can recall, from when I was at uni and I did work placement, and I was employed, which I was quite shocked that they employed me over somebody else who got all A stars. And this person was rubbing it in my face, I got A stars, and I was thinking, okay. But I had an interview with the lady, which ended up being like a talk. We were just talking to each other, and she was so gobsmacked, like her jaw dropped, and I felt like, oh my god, you went through all of this, you've given all your time to the community, you've been doing loads of community work, you're not really getting paid for anything. You've gone through a lot and you're still here. Like the resilience, that word keeps popping up. And yeah, so she said she employed me, and I was shocked. And they loved me in that organisation. It was a organisation that worked with a detention centre, not detention centre, called Hibiscus. They work with women that go to detention centres that have asylum seekers and all that other stuff. So I was then mentoring. I was also doing admin and inputting data information about these individual clients. And they loved me so much that they said that when I finished uni, they want to employ me. And I was like, yeah, I was all right. And I told my tutor at the time and the clerk, because we have to speak about it, and the girl was not happy that I didn't get the job. And I was like, it's not about the grade, it's about the experience, because she's like, you got so much experience, whatever, we can teach you, you're very hands-on, you're very good at what you do. And I'm like, oh, I was very impressed. But then I got pregnant. And they were chuffed about it, about me being pregnant, because they even had a baby shower for me and everything. The organisation, it was so sweet. I cried my eyes out. I didn't know people loved me like that. And but me myself, I was just like, everything I was going through, I didn't think, because that was a time when the domestic violence with my daughter's dad was that bad, because that's when he beat me when I was 7 months pregnant with my son. Right. And that's how he developed cerebral palsy, as well. He had a stroke in my stomach.
Oh.
Yes, and then I had to see counsellors and stuff like that. Mental health is all over the place. I did want to jump on the train track. I told them that there was a time when I was like, I'm done. And it's just keep looking at my children. It's just like, just gotta keep going. I have to keep going. I've got 4 eyes at that time, with 4 eyes looking at me. So I had to keep going, and I found out pregnant again. And I was like, oh my God. And it was just like, and then the more I got pregnant, the more I found out I had this wrong with me, fibroids, group B strep, things. I was like, what is this? What is that? I was like, oh my God, this is it. Carpal tunnel. Oh no, what is that? Why is everything? Leave me alone. It was one of those ones. So yeah, it was just a constant thing, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep going. Keep coming for me. I'm gonna keep going. So that's the mentality I got in my mind. Even though I've got a lot of fear there. Why is that fear there? It needs to go, but I keep going.
Tell me what your best self would look like.
Okay. My best self, I've always said I'm a family person. I love being a mum. So I obviously would be a mother with my children in a nice big house with a garden, a really good job where I'm helping the communities. I always felt like I wanted, had an idea of like an organisation I wanted to help with people who become homeless and dealt with mental health issues. I wanted like a little safe house for people to run to, and it has all these different umbrellas under that one roof. They can have counselling, talk about sex, they run away from a gang, family issues. They just got somewhere to stay, sit, sleep for a bit, figure things out, and then help them back into the world, into the community. That's something that I've always had that passion to do, but it's like I said, that big F word that's there. I don't know why that there.
I can think of another rather large F word as well. Finance.
Exactly, that too. The finance part, so I'm a person I've always worked, and since I've been battling with all these things, like health-wise, having children, it's like I'm not working, I'm getting less money. But like, I'm on universal credit at the moment as we speak. I'm claiming universal credit, but I'm not getting any money. It says 0. All they're doing is paying 100 and something towards my rent, and that's it.
So you get no...
I don't get anything. I get careers allowance, keep saying careers, care allowance for my son.
Yes.
They said I'm not entitled to PIP because I'm not disabled enough. Yeah. And what's the other thing I get? Child benefit. That's it. That's all I live off of. So I'll probably living off of £400 a month, and I'm in debt as we speak. So I've got overdraft, which I had this. And I was discussing this with my daughter yesterday as well. I said I've got an overdraft. I've had this overdraft since her father made me get this overdraft because he would said I had to do stuff with him in order to get the money. And I refused. I ain't a prostitute. I ain't leaving nobody for no money. I will go and work and I'll get an overdraft. And me and my daughter went on holiday. I took her on holiday because we were going for a lot, and it was fine. But I'm still. It's like I paid off the overdraft, but I still use it. I still dip into it every now and then. And it's something that I said I need to get out of. It's not just the overdraft. It feels like it's still holding me. So I need to get rid of it. So that's why another thing I need to get back into work in regards to like finance. And I need the money, I need the income. There's things I need to do, things I want to do, and it's hard. It's hard. And I'm a very independent person, a very independent woman. I get it from my mama, which has affected my relationship with my husband because he's like I'm the breadwinner.
Yes.
And I love him for that. He's so cute, but there's times I'm like, no, let me pay for it, you know. And I don't like answering to people like, why did you buy this, or you spent this amount of money today? I don't know. I'll just let me buy the kids food because I'm not a spender. Like yesterday, I did food shopping. My husband said we're gonna wait for 2 days to do food shopping. The fridge is empty. I'm like, mate, the kids are hungry. They're sick. I need to cook. So I went and I bought some stuff. He said, you spent £40 in Morrison's on what? And I was like, look, I'm not going to calculate everything for you. I am not Morrison's. Okay? I bought what I bought. There's food, eat, please. And that is it. So yeah, finance is a big issue as well for me, which also impacts my mental health. It makes me, my mum always say this, when I'm broke, I get miserable. And I don't like being broke, but I'm learning my best not to make me miserable. So yeah, so that's another thing where I get that whole, you just got to go for it. I could have 50p in my purse right now and people think I'm rich because of the way I dress or whatever. No. My mum said, never let no one see that you're broke. Don't let no one.
Yeah.
So just dress.
Yes.
Put on your best dress and come out your house. Yeah. You know.
Mrs Resilience, hold on. I'm going to ask you a final question.
Yes.
And I hear everything you've said.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking to that last piece, which is about essentially being independent, being able to move out of the present accommodation into accommodation of your own that has space to allow you to do many of the things that you would like to.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that may also mean not just finance, because as mine would say, it doesn't grow on trees.
No, it don't.
How about further education? And I'm saying that because given that you are getting no money, no financial support directly from the government, why don't you just consider going for another qualification?
Well, the reason why I wouldn't go into further education right now is because I am thinking about the debt that I've got to pay back from the previous further education that I did at uni, because that's like what, £60,000 in debt from student finance. So I've got to pay that back when I start working a proper job, and I'm going to add on to it. And that's one debt that I don't think about on a daily basis because I'm not working. If I'm not working, I can't do anything about it. And then another reason why I don't want to go back into further education, because I struggle so much especially when I've got a lot going on. I always tell people, if you're going into education, make sure you ain't got nothing going on. Because if you've got a lot going on, you're not going to get the grade, you're not going to get what you want out of it. So, so like when I was at college and I got distinction throughout everything, from my health and social care, I was happy, I was good, it was in a good place. I was, you know, left him, I was fine, and it all stumbled all back again. Once I went back to college and did a second course and started uni, it all came back again, and that's when hell, you know, I didn't get the quality, the grades that I wanted. I didn't enjoy the course how I wanted it, you know. So I wouldn't put myself in that position right now because I'm not in the best position as myself as I want to be, especially mindset. So my mind's not there, my body won't be there, and I won't focus. And battling with mental health and dyslexia, especially my hearing impairment altogether, and studying is very hard. It's a hard thing. You've got to listen, you're like, I don't want to concentrate, I've got this going on, too much on, and that's how I feel. And when I keep doing this head movement business, it's like, it's a lot. So I wouldn't put myself in that position. In the future, yes, but if I had opportunity where a job would arise towards me and they had training with it, I'll take it on, because I'll be getting paid and I'm training and learning at the same time, definitely. But I wouldn't do that again in regards to like go back into further education.
I will ask you to write it on a piece of paper and keep that piece of paper in your pocket for future reference. And one day you'll come across those jeans or that jacket or that handbag and, oh, what's this bit of further education? You are a resilient woman.
Thank you so much.
I suspect that you were a resilient child. So I can imagine someone calling you Miss Resilient. And then hell, you have married.
Yes, Miss.
So Mrs Resilience. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Really enjoyed this. It's been
extremely interesting
listening
to what you've had to say.
Oh, bless. Thank you so much, Elaine.